Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. This is the day that the Lord has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. This day was the day that the Lord made, and I rejoiced and I was so glad in it. I mean, this day that I prepared this soup, I tell you, I was looking so forward to this soup, and I made it, and it was like, I don't even have words for it, I tell you. So today we're making this lovely fish and beef light soup, okay? This soup was very regular in my house, okay? It was regularly made and I really enjoyed it. I missed it because I didn't have all the ingredients to make it, but thanks to my sister in Ghana, Mambi, now I'm able to make this soup. So I want to share this recipe with you, and it is very simple. It's just straightforward, self-explanatory, and it is amazing. So I may be veering off the recipe and talking about other things, but yeah, that is how it goes, okay? So as I said, you're making this soup today, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Samira, okay? And my old and existing subscribers, welcome back, and thank you all for your support. And please, I hope you enjoy this soup, okay? So it's just normal light soup like we make it every day, and we have just the main ingredients that make this soup so special is the protein, okay? So I'm going to go through the ingredients with you for you to see what I used, okay? So here are the ingredients, right? So I have, as you can see, a whole array of things we're going to be using for this soup, okay? And one of the things we always used for our soup is garden eggs. So our garden eggs, we never make any light soup without garden eggs, okay? So that's why you see garden eggs or eggplant in there. So I have my fish. This is red snapper that I have grilled myself or baked in the oven myself. I have some mackerels which I also baked myself, okay? And I have, this is Nkrakra that I just took it from the deep freezer, so you see the ice on it. Yeah, I have my chilies, that is Scotch bonnet. This is my apata, I don't know what this one is called, and this is my agini, okay? So I also have this supaku. It is the brother or the sister of Kobe, which is very nice for your soup, okay? So my onions, my garden eggs, as I said, my tomatoes, and yeah, that is it. So here is my tomato puree that we need to add to our soup. I'll introduce my beef later, okay? So I'm going to be boiling the vegetables in here, the garden eggs, the chilies, the tomatoes, and the onions. I'll just put it in this saucepan with water. I'll boil it. Once it's nicely cooked and it's soft, I'll just blend it. So I'm going to show you the next scene that you see will be this that I have blended nicely, very smoothly. Otherwise, you need to sieve it. So make sure it is super smooth, okay? So that you don't waste anything, right? So next, I'm going to be showing the spices and some of the aromatics I'm going to be using for this soup. So I have my onions, I have my ginger, and I have some garlic. Then I have Nkate-Konto-Be and Wediaba. That is all you need. You don't need anything else because the Nkrakra has its own flavor. The agini has its own flavor. So coupled, with all these things, your soup is going to be yeah. So here I'm just adding some salt to my beef. So this beef, it's like the brisket kind of type, or if it's not, what is it? Yeah, I think so. Is it a brisket? I'm not sure. I will. Well, it's the part that has a lot of fat. Yeah, so I just add my salt and I just steam it for a bit. So I let it simmer. So once it simmers, then I just give it a stir and I'll add my tomato puree and then my Nkrakra. So what I tend to do is to add the fish that is like so hard, it's like meat. So Nkrakra is one of them, and the supaku too is quite hard and it's quite salty. So you also put it in like early so that you can assess the salt as you go along. Otherwise, your soup can be very salty. So I'm adding in my supaku, my Nkrakra at this time, okay? And I will just cover it for it to jump over. So do you understand jump over? You say, simmer. It's going to simmer. Yeah. So once it jumps over, once it jumps over, then we add the other bit. That is it. But then one thing I want you to notice that when you're making like soup, like the light soup or like any kind of soup, you remember that you have to make like sort of the base, this bit, you don't start with so much water, just little by little, and at the end when you get a concentrated base, you can use your water to boil it, then you are done, you see. So I'm just stirring it. It's just pretty easy, right? So my akwebi is already, my adrenaline goes in, then my red snapper, and it's a bit it's a bit hard. It's not so soft because I have grilled it myself. So yeah, and the rest of the things go in. Then yeah, I like to jump over again. It simmers again. Then I add in my blended vegetables. Right. So I'm going to let this simmer for a bit. I'll give it a taste. Then I will add some more water. Okay, and if it needs any more seasoning, salt to be specific, then I will just add it. I didn't even finish saying it. I've added it. Can you imagine? I said it wrong, and I've added the water. Well, this is an edited video, so some bits you will not see. I just tried to cut it short for you to see. So yeah, and I let it through, and it is over. It is jumps over it, and it's over. It simmers, and this is perfect. And I tell you, and this is where I add my adrenaline. The adrenaline is very soft, and the one what I call the apata is also very soft. So I'm adding all those ones, and the mackerel, and then my okra to complete it. And this soup here, the day that I made this soup, let me tell you, do you know what happened? A friend of mine took my kids away, so my husband and I came home, and it was just the two of us. I made this in the morning. It was the day of my pastor's wife's birthday, Nana's Food World's birthday. Yeah, so that day, I made a lot of things, including this one. Sorry, Nana's Food World, that I didn't give you some of this one. You only ate the chips. Yeah, so I added my crabs. If you saw that, there are crabs in there as well. She said, this soup here, me and my husband, we sat down. The fufu, we did the fufu. The fufu, it looked like the fufu was small. But my asanka was too small. My yuwa was too small. So I couldn't do the fufu cleavage. Do you know what the fufu cleavage is? Maybe you don't know. Let me educate you. The fufu cleavage is the fufu that you have. You make it into balls, 2 balls, and you put them together. So like what they call fufu, 2 together. Together, they look like cleavage. So it's like, we call it fufu cleavage. Because of my ayoa was too small, I couldn't make fufu cleavage. So I only made 1. But trust me, that fufu, it was 2 of it, and me and my husband. The competition was just fierce. I didn't leave myself. I just said, this soup. I really enjoyed it. I finished and I felt like my soul, Nkrakra. The soup was amazing. So I hope that you guys, you try this soup, right? So it's the ingredients that make the soup. So if you want to experience this delicious, delightful soup, please contact me for some of the ingredients. Or I'll show you how to get some. I have a video coming up how to get some of these ingredients from Ghana. If you live in the diaspora and you live like outside, Ghana, easier way to get it. So I have a video coming up, and I'll show it some unboxing. So yeah, this is how it all went down. And yeah, thank you so much for coming today, coming to watch. I appreciate all of you. And a long-awaited fufu. Chai. Let me turn it. Akwebi papebi. This is good. Asawara.
This fufu is properly loaded.
So good. Many ejo makumem. Fufu ni mekwan papebi. Okay, painful.
fufu ne mekwan na me ne me kunu e ko competition e die to ase.
So lovely people, welcome. We are making Abe-Nkwan today, okay? And this is our abe, which is our palm nut fruit, okay? So when we make abe, or when I make abe, I use two types. I use the agric type and I use the abepa. So we have two types, one that is like small and one that is big. The big one has more meat on it, okay? So I'll tell you the reason why I use it, okay? So that is my abe, and I'm giving it a very good wash, and then we'll put it in a big saucepan because it's a big batch, okay? And then we will boil it. We'll cook it until it is nice and soft, okay? Then we'll pound it. So we are making the authentic type of Abe-Nkwan. We are not doing paste or anything. Yeah, the original authentic. Okay, authentic Abe-Nkwan. Yeah. Okay. So you wash the abe nicely, as I said, and you put it in a saucepan. We boil it. Okay. So the reason why I use those two types of abe is when you use the agric one, which is the big fleshy ones, now your soup become very thick. Okay. When you use the abepa, that one to your soup becomes very light. So I like to do it 50-50, okay? 50-50, so that my soup will become oho neho. It means that there and there, what I say. Very nice, very nice. Try this combination if you haven't, okay? All right, so yeah, abe is nicely cooked. It's nice and soft, and as you can see, look at me. I'm trying to open it up, and you see how very nice food, very delicious. I like to eat these sometimes with the Nkrakra pro. So I sprinkle a little bit of salt down. I eat it. It's very good. Okay. So yeah, we're going to be pounding it. And on this day, this is the day I pounded my wache shito. Okay. So you can see that I have my pepper and my onions in the abe wedru. Okay. And now abe wedru. Okay. So yeah, pounding it outside my compound back home in Ghana. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't take long. Trust me, very quickly. Okay. So once you pound it and it becomes nice and chaffy, just say how to explain this one. Like when it becomes as you've seen it, okay, means it is ready for you to process, right? So I'll put this one down, I'll put it somewhere, and then we'll go through our protein. Then we'll go through it. So here I have some mackerel, grilled mackerel. I have some mushrooms. I have some grilled snappers. Okay. I have some supaku. I have supaku. I have some snails. Okay, this is dried snails. Okay, on the stick. I have some herrings. I have akwebi. I have some of the akosomo, and there's wele in there. It's a namne dear. I am ma won kwan mu. Abe-Nkwan de. Nam no do so an e de. Na unhia so unhia nam so an na anu nsu ye de. I have also some tuna, okay? And I have odo won kwan mu. Onim se kwan ne odo kwan that too. Okay? So this is my meat, okay? Here I have some cow foot, and then I have normal beef, okay? This beef is got a bone in it, okay? So bone in beef, and I have some fresh snails as well. Okay, so we then move on to our vegetables, right? Okay, and our spices and our aromatics. So I have some fresh tomatoes, I have okra, I have my prekese, the one I'm showing you right now, okay, which is the Aden fruit, okay, and I have some chili, I have some garden eggs just for it to be lying inside my soup. It's not for anything, okay? Onions, ginger, and then I have garlic, okay? So for my spices, okay, my seasoning, something to make your soup very, very delicious. I have some cloves, anise seed, calabash nutmeg, thyme, rosemary, black pepper, fish powder, and shrimp powder. Okay, so I'm going to be blending all this with my other ingredients, then I will add it to our soup. Our soup is going to be very delicious. If you like Maggi cube and all those things, you can add it, right? So I've peeled my onions, garlic, and ginger, and I'm going to be blending it. So I'm blending half of my chilies, and then the rest of it, I'll put it in the soup to boil a little bit. And I'm adding my spices, okay? So my garlic, onions, ginger, and chilies and my spices. They are all going in. I'm going to be blending. Here you can see that the shrimp powder is very rough. Okay, I don't want it lying in the soup, so I'm adding it as well, and I'm going to blend it to become very smooth. Okay, we're going to use some of it to steam the beef and the cow foot, Okay, so this is how it looks like, nicely blended. Okay, so we're going to turn our meat into the saucepan. Okay, it's a very big saucepan because it's a lot of soup we are making. Okay, so I've poured some of my blended spices and aromatics onto the meat, if I can say it that way, right? And I'm adding salt, enough salt to taste. Trust me, I didn't add any other salt after this. I added enough to season the meat, to season everything that will go into this pot. Okay, I'm adding some water to help it steam nicely, right? Okay, so I'll cover it. And this is where I'm adding my snails, okay, the dried ones, and you need it to rehydrate. So I'm letting it. I just said I'm in the tumsa because I couldn't remove it from the stick. Okay, so once it steams a bit, once my meat steams a little bit, I'm adding my fish, and I'm adding the very hard ones. Okay, the ones that needs rehydrating. Okay, and I'm adding my snails. I thought I add my snails too early, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so here my palm nuts that I have pounded nicely. Okay, so I traveled with it. Okay, so as you saw me pounding in the beginning, I pounded it in Ghana and I brought it in that package to UK, so I'm using it, right? Okay, so here we are going to sort of add water to it. So you need hot water because palm oil is very oily, and you need water to sort of melt it so that you can get the best fruit and the paste out of it. Okay, not the best fruit, but the paste out of it. Okay, so I'm trying to separate the chaff from the nuts. Okay, the nuts, the big adreno. So it's hot, but just I'm eating my head inside. Okay, so that that's why I have cold water on hand, so that when it's too hot now I pour it on my hand, but it's not too hot that I can handle. Just I've handled hotter stuff, trust me. Okay, so yeah, I'll take everything out, and then you see as we go. So here I've taken most of the chaff out, so I'm going to wash my hands and then strain it. Okay, so or sieve it, or what. I'm using my sonye or my colander. So I pour it into it, and you see that the nuts are all coming out. Okay, so this is the original way of making Aponkye. And I'm saying that the paste has come, especially when you're in the diaspora outside Ghana. You don't get these, so you use the paste one. But trust me, this is the best. It is the original, the authentic, and it is so delicious. It's like the taste in between the two is night and day. Trust me, it is night and day. It is just too different. So I'm adding more water to my nuts, so that we want to get everything out of it. So the nuts you shouldn't leave the nuts out with some palm. I'm even hot. Let me get in from Nkrakra and come back. Okay. So all I'm saying is that as much as possible, you have to extract all the palm, okay, from it. Everything, all the fruit, the meat, the eduane woman. So that's why I'm straining, making sure that nothing is left on the nut. Okay. So once that is done, I strain it all and I'm happy with it. I will just throw the nuts away. In Ghana, usually we will dry it up. You can use this for some oil, adringo. Okay, so yeah, so again I'm going to strain it the second time. Okay, because my colander, it has big holes. Usually colander has big holes, so I'm straining it again. You can see that I've got something a little bit more. I will strain it again using a sieve, a finer sieve. Okay, so my meffin, which is the chaff, I'm adding some more hot water to it to get more of the food out of it. Okay, because you see that still the water will be red. I'm color red. So color now to me is red. Okay, and this was super hot, so I use a lot of cold water to cool it down. So that is it. And the chaff, usually we will dry it, and in my next or two videos you'll find out that we use it to the soja to start fire. Okay, so yeah, I'm using my fine sieve to sieve it again, and you realize that at the end I still have some roughage in it. Okay, and usually you have to be careful. You have these black things. It's from the nuts. When you pound, sometimes it breaks the nuts, so it's from the nuts. It's not anything extra foreign. Okay, yeah. So this is how much chaff would have been in the soup, which wouldn't have killed us, but it's just for a friend say, what is the word I'm looking for? Fine tuning. Yeah, fine tuning our soup. Okay, so here I'm adding my vegetables. Okay, my chilies, onions, and my tomato, right? Okay, so I'm going to let it boil, and it boils. My vegetables becomes very nice and soft. I'll take it out and I'll blend it, and then we'll add it to the soup. Okay, so it's boiling now, and you can see it's ready. So I'm using this I'm taking it. I'm using what? Doesn't matter what I'm using to take out. I'm just taking out the vegetables to go and blend. Okay, so making sure say it being kamuya and it's nicely blended, and I've added it to it. Okay, rinse the bottle and added it to it because Nina has all that vegetables in it. It's okay. So I'm going to be adding I'm now going to be adding my soft fish. Okay, so my wele, my salmon, or what we call mackerel. Okay, in Ghana we call it salmon, but it's actually mackerel. Yeah, salmon. So I'm adding all that and all my soft fish and my wele. I'm adding it. My wele was soft, so it had to go in late. Otherwise, what a shock. Okay, so now my soup has become too much. It's so much in the saucepan. So I'm scooping some and setting it aside. Once it boils and it reduces, I will add it. That's how I remember. That's how my mom used to do it. Only the put the saucepan half. A dozen keke and quino and one son. Hey, Madam Cash and Kwaben. So here I'm adding prekese and my garden eggs. Okay, I realized I had some crabs, so I added the crabs. Why not? How say dodo and say and dodo and say it means plenty meat or plenty, and doesn't spoil the soup. Okay, if you have plenty meat in your soup, it doesn't spoil, right? So our soup is getting there. It is nice, and at this point here, there's the aroma, no? The aroma in the house, no? You root to me say benkwine, ne duane do me kon fufui. So I'm adding my soup, the one I set aside, because it has reduced. It will reduce drastically. You see that the next scene, and reduce it. Okay, and palm nut soup, it makes a mess and it splatters. So you make sure that as you cooking, you'll be cleaning as you go in. Okay, cleaning your surfaces, and you have some wet disinfectant wipes or anything, sponge, anything to be cleaning it. So I'm adding my mushrooms. Mushrooms and chena and bean. So I added my mushroom later in life. Just say mushroom, so a palliative and chena. Hey, so I'm adding my onions and some more chilies, for good measure. Chilies, they did a unquain Nkwan mekono and so on. Papa biafra. So the chilies is not just for garnish, it's for eating as well. So look at me wiping my walls and my surfaces because it is palm oil. It can stain, so you have to be on top of this cleaning. Okay, so now see how the soup has reduced nicely. Okay, yeah, it has reduced nicely, means that it is ready. So that is our soup done, right? So thank you all for joining me today, right? So if you are new here, welcome, right? Welcome to my existing subscribers, my family, my friends, all of you. You are all part of one big family, and I appreciate you so much. Okay, the soup is ready, and I have made my triplets fufu that we are going to eat. And yes, I'm at the beginning. But before then, I'll show you how to skim your oil off your abenkwan. So it is very important that once your soup is done, let it sit, especially when you use the authentic abe to make it. Let it sit for a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. You see that the oil will settle. If you don't let it sit, you don't see the oil. You scoop all of it and you eat all the oil. Actually, you drink all the oil. So let it sit. When it sits and it settles for like 10 minutes, you see all the oil will settle on top. So this is how you skim it, okay? You use your soft, very gently. You press it down. Make sure you don't go too further down. Otherwise, you scoop the soup. Okay, so gently you scoop it. And if by mistake you scoop some of the soup, now it doesn't matter. It will settle at the bottom of the ladle. So all that you need to do is to pour it and leave the soup and pour it back into the big saucepan. So yeah. That is, you just keep repeating what I'm doing, and you scoop all the oil, and you find out how much oil I got. Look at that much oil, a lot of oil I got from it. So if you serve it immediately now, you wouldn't have seen this oil, and you would have drunk all of it. Okay. Soon kwaho, yami cash na kai. Or see soon kwaho. No, yami cash na kai mass of yami cash. Oh yes, I mean, buy me. I tell you, that girl will kill me, but I won't die. That yummy cash. So mass of says soon kwang. So patroma in suyan kwang. Why? So oil, you scoop it before. So our soup is ready and so delicious, very good. Hope you give this a try. But if you don't have the proper abe, don't worry. I've got you covered. A recipe using the paste and the nkulenu and the Ghana best, all of them, no, is coming your way very soon. Okay, so stay tuned and thank you for watching. Hello, my lovely family and friends. A warm welcome back to my channel. Okay, so my name is Samira. If you are new here, my name is Samira. Okay, and welcome if you are new. Thank you for clicking to watch this video. Okay, and if you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor and subscribe. Okay, and like this video and share, okay. And all my existing subscribers, please welcome back. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just want to say a very big thank you to all of you. This video is what I call my 5K video. Okay, so I want to say thank you all so much for letting me reach 5K and beyond. Okay, I know you're going to be sharing this video for people to see what's going on this channel, so that they can also subscribe, so that we grow to be bigger and bigger. Okay, we thank you all for all that you are doing. You're liking the videos, watching the videos, and just staying with me and supporting me through and through. Right, the Bible says that he who waters others shall himself be watered. So as you've watered me, as you keep on watering me, it's my prayer every day that the good Lord will also water you, will water whatever that your hands find to do. I want to say thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate it. You will not believe how much I appreciate it. So thank you. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my Nkrakra. Okay, so this Nkrakra basically is light soup made with goat meat soup. Okay, hey, light soup made with goat meat. Okay, so goat meat soup, Nkrakra. Okay, and aponche nkita kiapimfo yeka say nkita. Say Nkrakra yeka nkita. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. This video is the most delicious recipe you ever find on YouTube. I tell you, most delicious Nkrakra recipe. It's so good, you won't believe it. So just have a look and give it a try, and let me know down in the comment below. Comment and let me know how your version went, okay, or how your replication went. When you see me post like that, she said, "Me dream brofono remi." Now so me okay. Let's move on. Okay, let's move on to this video. Okay. So as I said, we are making a Nkrakra. Look at that soup. Look at the color. It's like it's got the best color ever. Okay, and we've got all the, the accoutrements of the meat that we need in this soup. Okay, look at the flames, the flames. Jawum, Etija. This soup, I tell you, really going to enjoy this video. You're really going to enjoy this recipe if you try. Okay, so the key to this beautiful recipe is the choice of spices. Okay, if you watch me, you know that I really don't do, not that I don't do completely. I do sometimes. I don't do artificial spices. Okay, I like to stick with the natural spices. Okay, so it's good. I'm not saying that Maggie cube and the keep seasons are bad. No, they are not. I'm just saying that reduce it a bit. Okay, so here are ingredients. Okay, our ingredients are, we have our goat meat, the goat meat with the skin on it. Okay, we have the yumade, the inside thing, which are the intestines. Okay, or the colons, or the whichever, the whatever it is. They are mixing it, the colons and the intestines. They are also called shaki sample. Okay. Okay, so these are my vegetables and other ingredients. Okay, I've got my onions, I've got my tomatoes, garlic, garden eggs. I always use garden eggs for light soup, okay? And these are my aromatics, okay? So I'll be showing you what I'm going to be doing. I have my tomato puree in the corner somewhere, if you can see, okay? So what I'm going to be doing, first of all, I'm going to be boiling our vegetables, okay? So tomatoes, garden eggs, onions, and pepper will go into this saucepan, okay? And we're going to boil it for it to be nice and soft, okay? You can, some people add it to their meat, okay, and steam that and the meat together, okay, and later on they take it out and blend and they add it. It's the same potogum fiegum at the corner, the same thing, but I like to cook mine separately, okay. It speeds up the cooking process, okay. So as this is cooking, yeah, now so here are our aromatics, and these are the spices, okay. So I have with the calabash nutmeg, anise seed, cloves, and this is star anise, a little bit all there. I'll put the measurements and list them in the description box, because this is the key. What is the key? I will list them exactly, the quantities, well, how much you need to use it, okay. So I put that together and I blend with my tomatoes, rosemary. Please never omit rosemary in this recipe. Rosemary is so please just don't omit it. Rosemary, fresh will be good. So as I said, I will list all the ingredients for you to do. So I've blended it together and it all goes in here. So in this, as I said, I have my rosemary, the spices I showed you, onions, and some garlic and ginger. Okay. And I'm adding my tomato puree, right? This is the time I always add my tomato puree, because the reason I do that, I let it start to cook quicker. It's got this raw taste, raw, and there's another name for this I'm looking for, and some acidic taste, okay? Yeah. Acidic taste. Yeah, so I just want that to cook out and for it to disappear before I add anything else, okay? So that's why I always, and always taste your food. I always taste my cooking. Taste it to make sure you have enough salt. This is the stage that you need enough salt. So make sure that your beef or your meat is seasoned to perfection here, so that later on when you add the other liquids, okay, it dilutes the concentration at the concentrated base. Now we are cooking over there, the one we just left and came here. Yeah, it's dilutes it, and then the salt can disappear and your meat will become tasteless. So you make sure the salt goes into the meat proper. It is seasoned very, very well. The vegetables are nice and ready, and we are blending it now. Okay. So yeah, once that is nicely blended to perfection, smooth. Okay, if your blender doesn't blend it smoothly, please strain it. Okay. Otherwise, if you want a bit in your soup too, no problem. Or some and I'm not them some. I'm not saying it because I've seen some before. So you see how concentrated this base is, okay? What we our aromatics and puree, and look at that. And now the puree is cooked, okay? And I'm still licking. Am I licking now? The tasting? Yeah, yes. So I've poured in my blended vegetables, and now I'm adding water. Light soup. We call it light soup because it is light, okay? But doesn't mean that it should be watery. No, it has to be light enough, not watery, because sometimes it can be next to water, very watery, and because we say that because it's light soup, it's not that light, please. It is light, but not that light. This light is good. So it's going to cook for a bit, and then it's ready, because don't forget that we've cooked our vegetables. Everything is already cooked. So once you blend it and you add it again, and so long as the meat is cooked, you let it boil over, jump over, boil, you know, then that will be it. Okay. Then I'll soup, look at that. The soup is ready, because Nkrakra in here and say Aponkye, and the rest of it, you know, if you should go map and that is ready. So here, yeah, maybe good to say you go fufu so. And I remember back home, you go fufu. So my mother, can't you do the fufu yourself and you eat the fufu yourself? Baby, Samira, me didn't quite go shine away. Yes, I am. What in a me, Jina, when I mean you fufu. No, she don't cry. One person can do this shop. Our mother used to worry us. Our mother used to worry.
Because today I'm standing here, I don't have anybody to remove the under of the fufu for me. Look at me doing it to myself, removing the fufu under. Why do we do that? So that the fufu doesn't stick to the bowl, or the soup will go everywhere. Hey, fufu, great experience. Okay, so yeah, this is basically our recipe. Very delicious. Please try it. I will list all the ingredients, especially the spices and their measurements for you to try. Okay, and it is so good. Right. You can also add your Maggi cube if you want. It is all. I actually use it. I use Maggi cube sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes I don't have some anymore. When I go to Ghana, I'll bring some. I had it was required in the Maggi cube. So yeah, I'll list everything for you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. You really enjoyed it. Please leave me a thumbs up. Please share this video as well, and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you all for joining me today. I really do appreciate you, and I hope that everything is going to be. Actually, I don't hope anything. What am I talking about? I've confused myself. Why have I confused myself? I've gone blank. I've lost my train of thought. Bye. I'll see you in the next one. And I'll tell you what I was thinking about next time if I remember.
Hello, everyone. So, as you all know, Christmas is coming. It's just here, okay? Almost here. And in a Ghanaian home, Christmas is not complete without chicken soup. So, today we are making chicken soup, right? And we are going to have it with some delicious fufu, right? So, before we get into the video, I hope you are all doing well by God's grace. And I am grateful to you all for always stopping by and watching my videos. So let's get right into making our chicken soup. So first of all, we shall do with vegetables. Okay, so when I'm making soup, I use onions and garden eggs and tomatoes, and chilies, right? So I use garden eggs for almost all my light soup and my peanut soup. Okay, and yeah, that is how my mom cooked, so I just learned that from her. So we're going to cook that until it softens, and whilst that is cooking, we're going to deal with our chicken. So we have 3 whole chicken here, and we're going to go through how I cut them. Okay, so yes, this how I prepare them basically. So here I'm cutting off the head and going right into the neck, and I like the neck, but sometimes eating it is a pain, so I didn't want to bother. And I bought this chicken with the feathers taken off. Okay, in Ghana you slaughter it yourself and you take off the feathers yourself, but here, so there are pieces of feathers left, and I'm trying to take them off with these tweezers. Okay, so I'll just pull them off as much as I can. I also have a blowtorch, and I'll use the blowtorch to burn all the little feathers. We have a myth in Ghana that when you are taking off the feathers of a chicken and you speak, it grows back. So whilst I was doing this, I was speaking this, so I think it grew back, so I needed to burn it off. Okay, so I cut off the legs, and yeah, it just left with the drumsticks. Okay, so before that, as I told you, I have the blowtorch to burn off. You can literally actually see some of the fine hair, because they have fine hair that very fine, you can't even pick them. Okay, so normally we put this on like the coal pot or the fire to burn it off, but I don't have that luxury here, and I can't do it on my stove. So I can do it on my stove, but this is much more convenient, it's much more easier. Okay, so take it off, and I cut that bit of the wings off. Why my mom used to cut it, I don't know, because my mom taught me how to do this. I don't know why she cut it off, so I also cut it off. Okay, so in Ghana you have all the intestines and everything in, and it makes it more interesting when you're trying to cut chicken, but here they've taken it all out, so it's easier. But then I don't get to show you how to take out especially the bile, maybe when I get to Ghana one day. So yeah, you cut to get the legs off, you cut through the side of the thigh, and you break off at the joint, okay? And there's the joint bone, you cut it off. Why my mom cut it off, I never know. I can never know. So you cut through there as again, and through just round the joints, and you cut. It's very easy to cut, right? Okay, so the same applies to the wing. You cut through the side, the shoulder, and then you snap it. Once you snap it, you get a joint and you cut it off. Okay, cut it off like that, and you have the wings. Okay, so 2 wings, 2 legs, and the legs you can cut it further. Okay, so you snap it like that, and you get a joint, and you cut it off much easier. You see? So yeah, okay. So now I have the carcass and the breast, right? So to get I'm taking some of the skin off. It was just coming off anyway. So I'm going to cut it like the way you see me through to get the carcass on the right and the breast on the left. Okay, so the carcass will be on the right once I cut it, as you see. Okay, so I'll cut the carcass into like 3 portions, and then usually in Ghana, because it has everything, sometimes you have eggs in the carcass. So my mom will leave the eggs in the like the yolks in the carcass, and then you cook it. It's so nice. I love that. Okay, so yes, we have the breast, and you cut through the wishbone of the chicken breast. Okay, cut through the wishbone. That's how my mom used to cut it, but here I was having difficulty, so I just cut it like, on the, you have to be really careful because the wishbone cannot stand on the back. So yeah, so just cut through there like that, and you have it. So you can cut this one into 2 if you wish, or you can leave it as it is. Okay, so, and you cook it. So there you go, there you have it, your one chicken, or your chicken cut into pieces for you to cook. Right, perfect. Okay, so now we move on. So this is all we have, everything here. So I've cut all the 3 chickens, and it's ready to be washed. So I wash it before I wash it, you have to check on your, so when you're multitasking, you have to keep checking on other things, otherwise you may burn stuff. So just went on to see that. Okay, so here I'm just washing my chicken. Okay, so I wash it several times, and once I'm happy that it's clean, I just add some lemon juice into my water, around my chicken. So I rinse it over and over again. How many times I can't even remember, but chicken is very tricky to deal with. So here I'm adding my lemon juice to my chicken. I let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes, not long, and then I wash it again. And then at this stage I know that it's okay. I'm not bothered anyway, because I'm going to cook the hell out of this chicken. African cooking would cook chicken. Yeah, so you raise it so that you don't have like that lemony taste on your chicken, and then we move on to make our soup. Our chicken is ready to. So when you are giving a full chicken, don't despair. It's very easy to carve it or to cut it, right? So my chicken goes into my saucepan. We have all of it, and rinse your saucepan a bit. Hey. And then all the chicken goes in. Then we are ready to make our soup. Delicious soup, okay? So our vegetables have cooked nicely, and we're going to be blending it. But before we blend it, let's start with our chicken, okay? Because it just can be cooking as we blend it. I told you multitasking is very, very important. So here are my spice cubes. So I have my normal 5 musketeers, and I have some scotch bonnet, green scotch bonnet that I've cut into pieces. And with chicken soup, you have to taste the chili, the heat, the pepper. Okay, so it's going to be very, very delicious. And I add salt, and then water to steam it. So as that is steaming, we will blend our vegetables. So our vegetables are tomatoes, our onions, our garlic, and our, did I say garlic? I'm not paying attention, seriously. Garden eggs, is garlic. Okay, garden eggs. Okay, then I add some basil, akokomesa, to my mom. We added it all the time, especially my great grandmother. So you add some to it, and I'm adding some cardamom. Okay, so cardamom, it takes the
flavor of your chicken soup to a whole new level. It's like you taste the soup, you don't believe that you cooked that soup, because it's like cardamom. It's just an amazing spice. If you don't have it, look for it. So my water, the water I used to cook the vegetables, I just drained it and strained it, and now it's nice and clean. I'm going to add my tomato puree in it and mix it so that when I add it to my soup, it's not chunky and it's not missing. Just we want the cooking process to be very nice and smooth. Okay, so I mix it, as you see, nicely mixed, and we'll add it to our soup, as you can see me do right now. Okay, so our puree is going to go into our soup. Meat started simmering nicely away. Look at that, very nice. And you have to be sure that you add a lot of salt. Enough salt for it to be very well seasoned. Okay, otherwise your chicken will not taste nice. If you don't season it well at this stage, salt will not seep into this chicken, and your chicken will be bland. Even though your soup will taste nice, your chicken will be bland, and it's not a nice experience. Okay, so we've blended our vegetables, and you have to blend it very smoothly. It's so smooth. Look at how smooth it is. Otherwise you have to strain it again. Okay, I don't like straining, so this is my fine blender. Okay, a blender that hasn't got a pulse. This is really fine when you can blend like everything to the finest whatever. So yeah, we're going to add our vegetables, and that is it. Usually because the vegetables are already cooked, once you blend it, even like just without the vegetables, it's already soup. But that is not how we have our soup where I come from. It has to be a bit, even though it's light soup, it has to be a bit thick, Nkrakra, not too light like you see how smooth it was. So yeah, you add that to your soup, and it is done. Look at already now. You can see this soup is buzzing. Just a koyi ankasa. It is nice. So I tasted it and needed some more salt, so a few more salt to season it, and that is it. Our soup is nice and ready. You let it jump over, let it boil, simmer a little bit, and that is it. Okay, and your soup is, look at that. Yeah, so before we complete everything, I'm going to add a few chilies in it, Scotch bonnet, and some basil, my akokomesa, which like always features in my live soup, I tell you. Okay, so that is it, and our soup is ready. My children, my kids love chicken soup. Oh my days. So we're going to have it with our fufu, of course. And I'll bring you the recipe of how I make fufu for a family of 5, okay, without pounding. The amazing fufu. So watch out for that video coming soon. But for now, yeah, our soup for Christmas, has to feature. So ebusian chemfa, yedi fufu, enamono, me kind. Otherwise they will eat it too much. I have to count it. Everybody gets like 2 or 3. Otherwise, me, when I was growing up, they give me just 1 chicken, and then the legs, I'll go and deal with it myself, and the neck and the head sometimes. And now no baby papa na more. Don't mind them. So this one is my own fufu that, and I intentionally put a little meat on it, so I don't want you guys to see the things I can do. So my shada pan. So it looks like a simple baobua. Off camera, it wasn't simple at all. It was complicated. Okay, that is it. Thank you all for.
Please, I beg you. It's a Saturday morning. Please, let's make groundnut soup. Why? Not just any groundnut soup, but goat meat groundnut soup. Aponkye Nkate-Konto-Be. Now that is where say, idea dewo baby, meaning something that is sweet or something that is delicious is somewhere. Hello everyone, welcome, and it's Samira here. Today we are making, as I said, groundnut soup. I hope you are all doing well by God's grace. I am doing fantastically well. Please like this video, subscribe and share. And if you are new here, you are more than welcome. And please enjoy today's recipe with me. and consider subscribing because you definitely love this soup. It's just amazing. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's get cooking. These are some of the ingredients, okay? So I have some onions, chilies, and tomatoes, and then some aubergines, okay? Or if you have garden eggs, you use that. I didn't have garden eggs. By the way, garden eggs are optional. I normally use it just to thicken my soup, okay? So, yes, I'm cutting all the vegetables, okay? And I'm going to boil them, right? And when they are soft, when they are nice and soft, I will blend them and add it to the soup. Another way of doing it is you can just put all of this in the soup straight away, and when it becomes soft in the soup, you take them out and then you blend it. I did that to the aubergine. You see that I'll put the aubergine in later. I didn't add it here. Okay, so yeah, our vegetables look very soft. It's ready, so I will set it aside. I'll blend it off camera. Okay, so here are some ingredients, and this is ginger, a lot of ginger. Groundnut soup, you need a lot of ginger. Some tomato puree and the groundnut paste that I made. Okay, so I'm going to use the one in that small tub over there, right? And I also have my H13, okay? So I'm going to be bringing you all these recipes, okay? So they are just herbs, 13 herbs put together to make that, or 13 ingredients put together to make that, those cubes. So I'm going to blend my peanut butter or my groundnut paste with my tomato puree, okay? So the reason is when you put it together and you cook it separately, as you see me do, it helps bring out the oil, but not always. It depends on the groundnut you have or the groundnut you used. I use abroche groundnut. Abroche groundnut, no more fufu, more macho. So I don't know. I think that the oil, it's not. Hasn't got much oil in it, so it didn't give me a lot of oil. But then when I cooked it, but it came. There's oil, by fire, by force. So what I am doing is I am blending it together. I'm blending the puree and the groundnut paste together, and this is how it looks, right? Remember, if you watch my groundnut paste recipe, it wasn't very smooth. That is because this is what I normally do. I blend it with my tomato puree, so I didn't have to bother blending it until it's extra smooth, because I'll do it again anyway. So that is why mine was like that. But then if you don't do it this way, then make sure that you're making your groundnut paste, you blend it until it's very smooth. So here I've added a little bit of water, and I use hot water to blend my groundnut paste and my puree, because groundnut paste, you need hot water to make it mix. And look at how silky it looks, very nice and smooth, because I used hot water, right? So yes, I set it on fire, and this is where I have to cook it until the oil settles on top of it. But then I cooked it, Charlie. Not just say the gas cry. Oh, and this is how it looked. And I didn't see any oil, so I just poured water into it, mixed it, and set it aside for the next phase, because I get oil in tina. I put it somewhere. So yes, I'll mix this and set it aside for when I need it to pour onto my meat. So our Nkate, are you ready? So here I have some stomach of the goat. So I cooked it separately. So I'm adding it to my goat meat. So here I've added some B10. Okay, Samira will bring the recipe. Wakasa, mama worry it will come. Okay, the B10. But I'll put all the ingredients I used in making it down there so that you can blend them together and you get the same. So don't worry. Yeah. So yes, I'm going to steam it. And as I always say, at the beginning of steaming your meat, make sure you season it generously with salt so that it is nicely seasoned. And when you add your liquid to it, it becomes okay, right? So otherwise, so make sure you season it nicely. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I've been steaming it for a while now, and it looks like it's ready. We are going to be cooking the groundnut paste so that they will all cook together until it's ready. So I'm adding the last bit of the H13. That's what I just dropped in. Okay, so I'm going to sieve my groundnut paste mixture, okay, because you find that when I was cooking it, it catches at the bottom, Nkrakra, so you sieve it, otherwise all this will go into your soup and it wouldn't be pleasant. Not that it will kill you or something will happen, no, it's just that it wouldn't be pleasant. That is why we do that. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter if you don't mind. So I'm going to stir it And then I'm adding my aubergine. I have peeled it and I have added my vegetables. Okay, so here I'm adding some wediaba calabash nutmeg, ground calabash nutmeg, to lift the flavor, because all those, the B10 and the H13, they've got flavors in it. It's all spices and herbs. Okay, so it's going to season our soup nicely. So I'm taking the aubergine out and I'm going to blend it, right? Okay, so I showed you some ginger. So that ginger that I showed you, I blended it with the tomatoes and I added it, right, to the soup. The reason is ginger brings out a very delicious special taste in groundnut soup. Okay, and how do I know that? There's a story. I don't think I have time to tell you that story, but there is a story. And I tasted somebody's soup and I tasted the ginger and I'm like, this soup is too delicious. I never tasted any soup like that, but all I could taste was ginger. Not that all I could taste, but I could taste the ginger notes in the soup. So I decided to increase the ginger content of my groundnut soup, and boy, it did make a difference. So our soup is ready. So I just added some aubergine that I have chopped, and then some chilies, some mekobi, just for, lionel, and that is our soup ready. And Nkate-Konto-Be is best served with what? Mankeni fufu and amepoa. So I did mankeni fufu, which is cocoyam fufu, and I'm going to bring you 2 or 3 ways that I make my coconut fufu. I say more coconut fufu. So yeah, I mean cocoyam fufu, not coconut fufu. Yes. Okay, I'm going to bring that to you, and you serve it with your fufu. And for me personally, I love groundnut soup with rice. So, but not rice balls. I don't know, but with rice. So yes, you can serve it with rice or with rice balls. It also goes perfectly if you're rice balls fan. Okay, emutuo, Nkate-Konto-Be emutuo de taiko. So this is our soup, very delicious. I hope you have enjoyed this recipe. I know that I may have raced through the commentary, but yes, I had to let it go quickly because nipa need time. Oh, now Saturday, Monday, ekoye ohimane yi. Nti I say yedi efufuo nyina nne. Sa mo Monday ni aye ni momomobo. I said ye ndidi ye no ye boa. Ya me. Madam Mercy, thank you all for watching. God bless you all. And hello, lovely friends and family. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great by God's grace. So today, I'm coming your way with this beautiful, beautiful, delicious dish. I tell you, this soup is so good. Okay, so this is what we call EbunuEbunu. So in Ghana, when we say something is bunu or ebunu, it means it's green. Okay, it's green. So EbunuEbunu simply means green. So you try and you use as much green ingredients as possible to get that effect. Okay, so let's get into it. And as usual, we go through our ingredients, and I have some tomatoes, some onions, or 1 onion, and then some green chilies. Okay, and I also have some garlic, ginger, and some onions, which I've blended. Okay, so here is my meat or protein. Okay, so I have fish, I have snails, I have crabs, I have some Nkrakra, and I have some herrings. I have some supaku also to make it really nice. Okay, yeah, and I also have, here is my Nkrakra, okay, or my spinach or cocoyam leaves. Okay, so I'm putting it in a freezer bag, and I'm adding my green chilies. Okay, so this Nkrakra that you can see here, I brought it from Ghana, and anytime I'm coming from Ghana, I buy the Nkrakra fresh and I boil it and I freeze them and I bring it. So yeah, so I have my beef, okay, and I've added my blended onion, ginger, and garlic just to steam it. I'm adding my supaku, okay, and my Nkrakra right now because Nkrakra is really dried and it needs to be rehydrated. Okay, so giving a bit of a stir. I'll add some salt and then I'm going to let it steam, right? I'll also add my tomatoes, my onion, and then I'll add my Nkrakra that we've put in the freezer bag. Okay, so that it's a bit, it was softened, it had defrosted, but not all of it. It still needs to defrost in the middle. So yeah, so at this point everything has cooked
or it's boiled nicely, and I'm taking it out to blend. Okay, so I don't want to cook it so much because I'm going to be cooking it. I want the soup to be much fresher. Okay, and I'm taking my kontomire out. Okay, so some people use spinach. Okay, they use spinach because they can't get their hands on kontomire. So I've blended my tomatoes and my onions that I just took out. Okay, so I blended it and I've added it to my pot. I'll let it steam, and I'm adding my herrings, which are also dry and needs rehydrating. So I'm adding it now. So I'm going to blend my green chilies and then my kontomire. Okay, so I've put it in my blender jug, and I've added some water, and I'll blend it. So once I blend it, I'll add it to the soup. So EbunuEbunu or kontomire nkwan is very, very easy to make. It's basically you make light soup, then you add your kontomire. So if there's any soup that is like blue and you have a blue vegetable, all that you need to do is make your light soup and blend the blue vegetables and add it, and it will be blue soup. Shy. So you just get the concept. Okay, so you just make light soup and you blend your kontomire at the end. That is it. So right now, because the kontomire is already cooked, all that I need is for this soup to boil over, to jump over, just then it's ready. So I've added my snails and my mackerel. So EbunuEbunu will not be complete without snails. Okay, EbunuEbunu, they say snails, they can. So here the one, here the support, and it also goes well with none other than menkeni fufu, because the kontomire comes from the menkeni, and I'm adding my crabs last. Okay, because crabs, it doesn't take long. It's a fast, so you don't have to put it in early. Otherwise, you just kill everything. You won't kill everything. I think it's already dead, but it's just to make it nice and succulent. Okay. So that is our soup done. So I'm adding my okra, and just, me, I like fufu and okra. So krumano did that. So now I put all the frank wine in the morning. Sometimes I eat it like that. So Charlie, and it makes everything so delicious. The soup was so good. It's just so good. Oh, right there. So this is my fufu that I'm serving it with. Okay, my what kind of fufu? Cocoyam fufu. I'll bring you the recipe very soon. Okay, cocoyam fufu is very tricky to make if you're not pounding it. Okay, even when you pound it, you have to add a little bit of cassava to make it a succulent, just to make it sour. Okay, so yeah, I'm going my fufu. So just me go me fufu no, so simply means I'm putting soup and meat on my fufu, and I have some more fresh green okra which I didn't add to my soup. I cooked that separately, okay, to make my EbunuEbunu pop a little bit, and it was so good. So I hope you give this recipe a try. It's so delicious and it's so easy to make. So any variation in your your meals at home, it will be very good. What that means is I'm not using beef, just beef. I'm using beef, I'm using oxtail, I'm using the cow skin, I'm using the cow tripe, which is the stomach or the shaki or the inside thing, and I'm using all sorts to make. So please join me and let's see how it goes. So first of all, I'm going to be boiling my vegetables, okay, which are tomatoes, onions, and chilies. So here I'm going to be boiling my cow skin, okay. It's like wele, but they've not bent the skin, and it takes long, so I do that. And usually when I make light soup, I add garden eggs. So I have some 10 garden eggs, which I'll add. I'll not show it. So the vegetables are ready, okay, and I'll take it off the fire. So in a saucepan, I add my cow foot. Okay, so I'm going to be adding the meat that is tough to cook. So I'm going to be adding my cow foot and then shaki, which is the stomach, and then the oxtail.
I don't know much about oxtail because I usually don't use it, okay? So I've added some water and I'm adding my spice cubes, and this is what I call the B10, okay? I have the B5 as well, and I'll share those recipes with you, right? And I'm adding some salt, okay? Then I'll cover this for it to steam. So as I said, when you steaming your meat, make sure you steam it with enough salt so that it's well seasoned. Otherwise, it will be tasteless later, right? So I'm now adding my beef. This is the proper Nkrakra. This one is the bone in. It has all the bones in it. And I'm adding the rest of the B10 and by age 13. Okay. So I've added some tomato puree, a little bit of tomato puree. Okay, actually that's all I had, and some more water. So I'm going to be cooking the beef as well, making sure that it's nice and soft. Okay. And I'm adding more salt because this is another batch of meat that I've added. So I need it to be well seasoned. Okay. So I'll then add my wele, okay, or my cow skin, which is now softened a bit, but not too soft, okay. You don't cook it for it to be extremely soft in between the both, or honeho, so that after the soup is cooked now, it won't be very, very soft, unless that's what you are going for, okay. It's been steaming for about 10 minutes, and I'm going in with my vegetables, which I've blended off camera, okay. So the one we boiled at the beginning, that's what I've blended, and I've added some garden eggs as well, okay. I did all that off camera. I have a lot of soup recipes which have added all these ingredients, so I will link them so that you can refer to them in detail if that's what you want, okay. So I'm adding more water because I'm making light soup, obviously. So yeah, giving this there, what I'll do is I'll give it a taste. I'll taste and then see if it has enough salt. And I did, and it didn't. So I'm adding more salt, okay? It's a lot of soup. The pot is big, so I need to add enough salt. So all I'll do right now is to stir it and leave it to boil. I'm adding a few chilies and then some okra, okay? So light soup ni okra, dear Charlie, unyao, yeah. So I'm going to leave it to boil and to cook, okay? So my vegetables are already cooked. So all that I need to do is just for it to do a few jumping over, okay? Just Nkrakra, then our soup is ready. And I went in to give it a taste, and it didn't taste as I expected or as I wanted it to. So I wasn't sure. It was tasting, something was off, okay? So I added just a little bit, like half a teaspoon of ground budiaba, and then some vegetable bouillon. Gave it a stir, and then the taste was bomb. It was just something not, that oomph, okay? That oomph wasn't there, and I needed the oomph, so that gave it what I needed, okay? So I gave it a taste again. I was happy with that. And now soup is ready. So what best to serve your light soup with than fufu? Always fufu, Charlie. A capim food, fufu, the fufu area. Pa, any enejo. Do fufu, na fufu so doying. Hey. So yeah, served it with fufu, and it was very delicious. I thought to share this simple recipe with you, and I hope you enjoy it. Today, I want to share with you this hearty, comfort, homey soup, okay? Just it takes you back to all things delicious, okay? So we're going to be making Abe-Kate-Konto or Nkate-Konto-Be, however you want to call it. This soup is delicious. You've got the best of three worlds, okay? So before we get into the video, I will encourage you to like this video for me. So let's go through our ingredients. I have some groundnut paste or peanut butter, okay? I have some spinach, or this is contomere, proper contomere, right? And this is my palm base, right? Or paste. So my vegetables, I have some chilies, garden eggs, onions, and tomatoes. And with this soup, you need a lot of chilies, okay? And I have my meat or my protein. So with this, whatever floats your boat, really, okay? So I have like 4 different kinds of fishes, smoked turkey, and here I have some beef, okay? So first things first, okay, we're going to deal with the abe or the palm nut base, okay? So I pour some hot water on it because it sleeps. She said eda, okay? So you need hot water to be able to extract the food, okay, from this, right? So this one is already made. I brought it from Ghana. If you watch my Aponkye
recipe, you see how this was made, right? I'll link it for you. So here, what I'm doing is I'm just taking out all the chaff, leaving the nuts in it, okay, or the palm kernels in it, okay, because your friend, if we call it palm nutter, it means you say that kernels they are nuts, isn't it? Anyway. So yeah, I'll strain it, and you should always have hot water at hand, okay? So that's what I just poured in the palm kernels, right? So that it melts the oil, because this one is very oily. Palm nuts or whatever, it's very, very oily, okay? So that's what I'm doing. And you need a fine strainer, because with the authentic palm nuts, because of the pounding, we tend to pound it hard, and in so doing we break the palm kernels into pieces, right? Like some of them break into pieces, causing some debris, right? So you will see what I mean by debris. So as I am straining it for the second time, you realize that the debris will be at the bottom, and there you see that black thing. It's all from the palm kernel. So if you use a big colander, it will all go through. So a fine sieve will do. But you are using the can abedia, then not to worry. Or I think you should worry, because it will be there as well, right? Okay. So we just move on to steaming our meat. Okay. So I'm using this beef for my shito, my beef shito, which will be coming to you very soon. I didn't know what to use the stock for, so I thought to add it to it whilst I'm doing something meat waha, and I'm also saying. So yeah, I added the stock and added a little water, right? And then my beaten, okay, to steam this meat nicely, okay. I'm also adding some ginger and then some garlic, 3 pieces or 3 cloves of garlic, right? And I'm adding salt to taste. I'll cover it for you to steam. Once it steams, I'll come in with my chopped onions, okay. So this is finely diced, okay. And then my chilies, and then my tomatoes, and then my onions. I'll cover it for you to steam a little bit for about 5 minutes, and then I'll come back, and what I will do is to take out the garlic, because it's little, they are very tiny, and I can lose it, okay. So I'll take those one out first, right? And then I'll come in with my turkey, my smoked turkey, right? So because we are making palm nut soup, groundnut soup, and kontomire soup together, you have to go in with the meat that will survive long period of cooking or boiling, okay? Because Aponkye and groundnut soup, we need to cook it for longer for it to cook well, right? So I've added some tuna and then my turkey, and I've just poured in my palm nut solution or base, and here I've blended my groundnut paste. I blended it with the garlic, not for any particular reason, because I had taken it out early, okay? So I washed my blender jug and added everything to it, okay? So this is going to be boiling the same way like you are cooking your Aponkye or your Nkate-Konto-Be, right? So I just added my momoni. Don't skip momoni, okay? And some more salt, so that my food is not tasteless, right? Okay, so it keeps boiling. See, you have to boil it for long. And your fish or your meat or whatever that is not very strong, right? You can, or very hard, you're going to add those ones later, right? So once your vegetables are nice and soft, okay, you take them out and you blend and you add it to your soup. So that's what I'm doing right now. So for the quantities of the palm groundnut and the kontomire, I would say, I would advise that tilt towards whatever you like most. So if you like Aponkye most, go for more a palm base. If you want Nkate-Konto-Be, go for more Nkate base. If you want kontomire, go for more in kontomire base. Okay, so I'm now adding in the rest of my fish. Okay, so I added in some Akwa-Be, some mackerel, and then some smoked red snappers, right? So here goes in my kontomire or my spinach, right, or my cocoyam leaves. Okay, so once it goes in, you see that the color of the soup changes a little bit to green, tone of green, undertone of green. So I added the kontomire last, because kontomire doesn't take long to cook, okay? It's just like, it makes sense that it goes in last, because otherwise it will overcook. Just you cook out all the nutrients if there's anything as such. So I just added in my garden eggs and some more chilies, okay, because this soup is really, really thick, dense, right? And you can make it light if you want. But me, me equipping for the say be a benquine woman or say a pew, say equipping for a penquine a pew. Yeah. So here I'm adding a little bit of ground cloves and then some ground widiaba, okay, just to boost the taste. You realize that we didn't add a lot of spices. We use the B10. The B10 has a lot already and it's super, super delicious, okay? So once, and we use momoni there, you can't go wrong. So with this soup, we are expecting the oil to settle because Abenquine produces oil and the peanut butter or Nkate-Konto also produces oil. So once you see that, then you know that your soup is ready. So Abe-Kate-Konto, Nkate-Konto-Be. What did we eat it with? Fufu, of course. And what kind of fufu? Menken fufu. Hey, Charlie, coconut. Cocoyam. I don't know what I'm talking about. Cocoyam fufu, and it was so good. Trust me, this soup, yeah, obedie dibium. Me say if you don't take care, you chew your teeth. Sound quite way. Nede, okay, so you can make it lighter. You can add a little bit more water to lighten it up. Me okay food de pe nkwan piu ntini piu no. That's what I enjoyed. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you are inspired to make it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.